I am the head of scouting and analysis for the Spanish Hockey Federation, as well as taking a more hands-on role with the senior women's national team and the men's senior national team. The goals of my work with the senior team as an analyst are to support the technical staffs and provide them with the information that they want to support the players. And at the same time, it's supporting the players. So players could come to me and say, can you just ping me over the last 10 penalty corners from Australia? And I want to look at how their drag flicker does this certain technique from this certain position. When we are in a heavy period, I will be using Nac every single day. I'll be downloading games, making sure they're in the right format. I'll be coordinating with my co-workers to analyse the games, working out what they want from each game, because we have some games where we only want certain information rather than the full tactical code. And so time saving and prioritising resources is important. The use of editing software and recording and filming equipment is becoming more widespread. We've always used Nac with all of our international teams, right from under 16s all the way through to the seniors, and coaches are fascinated at watching the video, reviewing, discussing clips, and not just on the game analysis. I also deliver tactics, and it's exactly the same on there. They just want to see it, they want to know how to do it, and they want to know how they can make sure they get an international standard service from their own support staff. Well, the advantage is that our coaches get to see all the information presented to them in a timely fashion. The process of performing, feedback, and then performing again is dictated by our efficiency as analysts. So the quicker and better we can get the footage, have it coded and on the desks of the coaches and the players, the quicker they can use that information and the better they can use that information. We will look outwards at the game-winning situations like penalty corners, penalty strokes, shootouts, goalkeeper actions. So we'll specifically look at opposition goalkeepers, we'll look at our goalkeepers. When we look inwards, we start to expand that sphere of analysis from the real game winners of corners, shootouts, strokes and goalkeepers to start looking more at the attacking and defending circles, because that's where the next layer of game winners are. And then from there we would expand it out to maybe looking at turnovers, ball wins, ball losses, or transition phases, so transition to finishing phases in build-up play, and how we attack and defend those situations. All of our national teams use video analysis, so they all use Nac. Traditionally, their setup has been the same as the seniors. They take a camera, they take a laptop with Nacsport, they take a capture card, and the seniors will take routers to send information down to the benches. We have categories, or a button for each player with a lead and lag time of 8 seconds. So okay. 8 seconds either way, so they can see the build up to their action and the result of their action. Those buttons will be pressed every time the player is either on the ball or close to the ball, in attack or defence. For example, the senior women's team are playing at the moment, and the average number of clips, of course, for defenders is more than forwards because they're on the pitch more. They're in more of the build-up process. but on average you're looking about 40 clips. 40 clips merged together per game. That's the fundamental baseline coding that we would do for those players. On top of that, coaches can then review that and add in descriptors. The primary use is the coding, so the button templates. We then put everything into presentations, all the basic information or key information into presentations, so that the coaches can then add in their descriptors. So for example, we will put the circle entries, so when a team gets into the attacking circle or a team gets into our defensive circle, into a presentation. So let's say attacking circle clips go into one list, shots on goal go into another list, and then penalty corner wins go into a third list. We have a master database for each team that we will come up against that keeps getting added onto, and then we put that into just a sharing platform. Coaches can then download that. So for example, our goalkeeper coach would download that presentation, add in the clips to his own presentation. So he just keeps adding on from the master presentation into his own one, just to keep it updated. And then he will go through and add in descriptors for each clip. So he'll say, okay, this was shot on goal, finished with a goal, or it was a shot on goal, finished with a save. This was the goalkeeper for India that made the save. The shot came from this zone. It was made by this player. So he'll add in the descriptors, and then we use the dashboards to visualize that data. And now we'll say, okay, now we can use those descriptors, and you can create your own dashboards to visualize the data that you want. So our goalkeeper coach can filter and see, of the 3 Indian goalkeepers, what happens in certain situations for each of them, so that he can then start preparing our information for our attacking coaches. So we've got 16 players between 3 coaches. We divide them up, we go through, we quickly add in descriptors or take out the clips that we want to, and then we have individual meetings with these players after each game. And then they can go through the entire game together as a staff and just watch it on the big screen, and then they can just do a little post-game code of, okay, let's look at this clip, and this clip, and they're done. With the seniors, it's more detailed, so we'll actually take out statistics from it. So we will do a first run through of the coding. For example, live, I will do a tactical and an individual code at the same time, and the girls will receive those clips post-game. So we'll upload them to sharing, and they can review those however they want. With the senior teams, we are always sending information to the coaches on the bench or in the stands. So we have our camera set up, which goes into our capture card and then sends out the live tags that we're doing throughout the game. We have to limit it to penalty corners, penalty strokes, and just maybe the occasional important thing. So we'll have a separate button on our code window so they can just say important, we'll click that and they get that clip. We also use Coach Station, so they can go back and say, oh, I want to go back and see that last press we did. So they can go back and find that quite quickly. Our managers sometimes use tag and view. Our head coaches will sometimes use tag and view. Players in the stands will use tag and view sometimes, or coaches in the stands. Just if they're looking at something specific for that game. So it won't be an extensive code that they'll do. That the main database will be created by myself or the analyst in the tower. Yes, we only use it with the senior teams because they are the full-time programs, and therefore they need that platform to be able to look at footage continuously. We make sure that all of the Spanish games that we've played are uploaded. They're fully coded. tactically and individually, so that players can review their clips. Our head coaches will then add in their databases to the footage that we get with specific notes and messages for certain players or certain units of the team. And we will also use it to create presentations maybe of penalty corners or shootouts. Yes, yeah, we do. If we're sharing something without being in a meeting with a player, we'll add information onto it. So we'll add some text, we'll add in the arrows, we'll add in some tracking if we need to demonstrate how we are or aren't cutting out passing lines when we're in our organised defence. So we'll just add in, say these are all the passing options they have, and we are cutting all of those out. Brilliant, perfect. So it's a really good visual way of demonstrating that to the players, rather than going one by one to the screen and going, just drawing with his finger, or going just in front of the projector so a shadow gets cast on the screen. Without a doubt. And I know that players crave it. They want it. If they've had it before, they've had it to a decent, just a half decent level, they know that it works. The just reviewing individual clips in their own time will automatically just allow them to think about their actions and to relate what they've trained, what they were asked to do in the game, to what they actually did, and then just for self-learning and self-performance. On top of that, if there's a specific and guided use of video analysis, then that will improve the team's performance even more. So you could sit down with individual players and go through the clips with them. You could have them review their clips as a group together and then present back, or you could present or conduct a meeting as a coach. Anything will help.